Welcome, Japanese woodblock print collectors and enthusiasts. Today we'll be diving into the life and art of Utagawa Toyokuni, the second leader of the Utagawa school. Through his creativity, innovation, and prolific production, the Utagawa school became the most successful Japanese art school in history. As usual, we'll start with a short biography and then dive into some of his amazing prints and print series. The man who became Toyokuni was born in Edo, which is modern-day Tokyo, in 1769. He was the son of a doll and puppet carver. His father was a friend of Utagawa Toyoharu, the original head of the Utagawa art school, and at the age of 14, Toyokuni was apprenticed to Toyoharu to study art. Like most artists, Toyokuni studied the art of the leading artists of the day. Some of those artists were Choki, Utamaro, and Eishi. And here's a timeline of these artists so you can see when they lived. Toyokuni learned their styles and later merged aspects of their styles with his own sensibilities to create a style of his own. In 1804, he and a few other artists like Utamaro were shackled and under house arrest for 50 days for violating the strict laws against depicting actual people and current events. Toyokuni was his master's best student, and he took over the Utagawa school when Toyoharu died in 1814. And in his lifetime, he designed over 2,500 print designs, illustrated 400 books, and worked with over 100 publishers. Now, let's have a look at some of his prints. And we'll start with Toyokuni's first bijin-ga, or pictures of beautiful women. His depiction of women was influenced by the work of Kiyonaga, Utamaro, and Eishi. This print is from Toyokuni's Komachi series. Komachi refers to Ono no Komachi, a famous poetess of the 9th century. She was also a legendary beauty and a popular subject for writers and artists. These print series take episodes from Komachi's life and reinterpret them using the fashion and social customs of the Edo period. Toyokuni designed several different series based on this theme. In this print called Courting Komachi, a courtesan and her attendant are walking at night to visit a client. I love the sophisticated and elegant way he's shown these women. There's lots of thin, delicate line work in the kimonos and the women's faces. The uneven texture of the woodblock printing of the background make it look like a charcoal drawing. And also, it's hard to see on the screen, but where the light beam from the lantern hits objects like the kimonos, it changes the colors. In fact, across her black sash, the printer applied a transparent animal glue to give that section a brighter shine. And I think this is a gorgeous print. This next print is Hinazura of Chojiya from the series Beauties as the Seven Komachi from 1793. In this print, Hinazura looks at a caged bird, symbolizing the play The Parrot. In this play, the Emperor Yosei sent Komachi a poem, and she responded to his poem by sending it back with only one syllable changed. This is the courtesan Takikawa of Ogiya from the series Seven Beautiful Komachi. In this print, Takigawa gazes at a hanging scroll depicting Komachi as an old woman in a scene from the play The Gravestone. Komachi's life was turned into 7 no plays. The last period of her life is called Grave Post Komachi, and it shows her as an old woman thinking about how beautiful she once was. A quick segue here, when I saw this print, it reminded me of Yoshitoshi's print called Grave Marker Moon from the series 100 Aspects of the Moon. Yoshitoshi's print was done in 1892, so that's 100 years after this one. Prints like these made Toyokuni a very popular bijin-ga artist, and he went on to produce many series of prints of beautiful women. But Toyokuni was mostly known for his prints related to the Kabuki theater, in particular his yakusha-e, or portraits of actors. I thought I'd start with this triptych he designed of the interior of the Nakamura-za theater in Edo. I know the performance is on the stage, but if you get the chance to see this print up close, you can see the variety of people and activities going on in the audience. We have lots of people eating, waiters delivering food, people smoking, drinking, talking, elegant women, drunks, all manner of things. And what's interesting with this triptych is that he also designed some others that are identical except for the middle panel, as we can see here. You can see that the center panel has been changed to show a different performance. Here's another version with a different kabuki play in the middle. It's a great way to get extra mileage out of a print design. Toyokuni was friends with many of the famous actors of the day and was invited backstage, so he had an intimate understanding of actors and plays. In 1794, Toyokuni published a series called Kabuki Actors on the Stage. I'll show you some of this very popular series, starting with actor Otani Oniji III as Ono Sadakuro. I love the pose and simple composition with the actor on a blank background. It's a bold design with sharply characterized faces. It's said of Toyokuni's prints that they recreate exactly what one would see on the stage. They show actors acting, not merely just pictures of actors. Here's another from that series that I really like, the actor Iwai Hanshiro IV as Katanaya Ohana. Look at the wonderful curve of the body, the subtle colors, the clean, crisp lines, and the wonderful facial expressions. Here are a few more prints from that series. In the book Biographies of the Utagawa School of Ukiyo-e Masters, it was written that Kabuki made Toyokuni, and Toyokuni made Kabuki. Toyokuni also popularized prints that showed two actors from the same performance, like a star and co-star. At the bottom of this print are some wonderful chickens that echo the actor's expressions and the mood of the scene. The white chicken is almost entirely embossed into the paper. Another format of the two-actor print that he made popular was this style of composition, where the actors are cropped at the waist, so they become much larger and more dynamic and bold. Here's another example with actors Ichikawa Yaozo III and Iwai Kiyotaro. Beautiful clean lines and expressive faces that impart the emotions of these actors. It wasn't only in life he captured actors. Toyokuni is also credited with creating shini-e. In Japanese, the verb shinu means to die. Shini-e means death or memorial pictures, and they were popular with the fans of the actors who wanted something to remember their actor by. And this is a memorial portrait of the actor Sawamura Sojuro IV from 1812. In 1817, Toyokuni published a how-to-draw book called Quick Instructions in Actor Likenesses, where he provided lots of tips and guidelines on how to draw actor expressions, hairstyles, costumes, and their poses on the stage. The drawing styles in this book were closely followed by his students and other later artists. Next, I want to show you some Ookubi-e, or big head portraits. This is one of my favorite genres of woodblock prints. Katsukawa Shunko is usually credited with creating the first Ookubi-e. And Shunko designed this Ookubi print of Kabuki actor Matsumoto Koshiro IV. And during the 18th century, this type of big-headed print became very popular. Following in his footsteps, Toyokuni also created some impressive and expressive Ookubi prints. And here are some of my favorites. This is Nakamura Nakazo II as Matsuo Maru. Notice the bold and mountainous brushstrokes in the kimono leading up to the dramatic face on the left, with the unusual dark black streak of a mouth. Only 4 of these prints are known, and it's regarded as one of Toyokuni's best designs. This is the actor Sawamura Sojuro III. His head nearly fills the whole width of the print, yet there is a great economy of line, and the expression is so relatable. And finally, this print of actor Nakayama Tomisaburo, dressed as a woman, wearing a towel on her head from 1795. I mean, you know it's a man because men played women's roles in Kabuki theater, but he also looks like a woman. And that wonderful expression. These Ookubi prints may remind you of the artist Sharaku, who was working at almost exactly the same time. I read that it's believed that many of Toyokuni's actor prints were done a few months before Sharaku's prints. But in my brief research of museum websites, the dates on Toyokuni's are mostly later than Sharaku's prints. Are there any Sharaku scholars out there that can shed some more light on this? Here are some comparisons of the same actors with Sharaku's print on the left and Toyokuni's print on the right. And I don't think we'll solve who did what first, who influenced who on this video, but it's really interesting to compare the 2 artists' interpretations of these actors. In the end, since Sharaku's designs were more exaggerated and less flattering, they were less popular than Toyokuni's prints at that time. However, now when we look back, Sharaku is judged to be the greater artist in this Ookubi genre. Before we finish up, I wanted to point out a few more accomplishments of Toyokuni. He popularized the diptych and triptych formats for prints. And this diptych shows 2 actors wrestling with a giant carp. And here's a wonderfully detailed triptych print of women travelers fording the river Oi. Imagine what that must have been like. Toyokuni died in Edo in 1825, surrounded by many of his pupils, including Toyoshige, Kunisada, and Kuniyoshi. After he died, his son-in-law, Toyoshige, became known as Toyokuni II. After that, it was handed down to Kunisada, who was known as Toyokuni III, which can be a bit confusing if you don't know the connection. There are criticisms in the art world that the quality of Toyokuni's later work declined, and this is partially due to the high demand for his prints and the fact that the Japanese populace was just not as picky as they once were. And Toyokuni is quoted as saying, "My pictures, they are merely something that I draw, and nothing more than that." Despite these critiques, Toyokuni elevated the Utagawa school to a position of fame and power. I think you'll agree that he was one of the great masters of ukiyo-e. And with that, please like and subscribe so you know when the next woodblock print video drops. And as always, happy collecting.